So what would happen if I gave the entire world a 100-year transfer ban? Would the likes of Manchester City and PSG continue to buy every good player known to man to make their teams as good as possible? Or will some other teams who have more of a focus on youth recruitment do better? Well, that is exactly what I have done today. Every single club in the world of Football Manager has a 100-year transfer embargo. Let's dive in to see what could happen. So first and foremost, guys, we've jumped forward 10 seasons, and you can see already there has been some interesting stuff inside the first 10 years of this experiment. Everton have three-peated the Premier League, which, you know, if you're watching them in real life right now, winning a Premier League seems a long way away. Let's just have a look at the stages for the last season, because we're just about to tick over. Everton win the Premier League with 92 points. They beat Manchester United out by 10 points as well, so a very comfortable lead for Everton here. Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester City all qualify for the Champions League. Leicester and Leeds United are in the Europa League, and West Ham qualify for the Europa Conference League. Some interesting teams in here, though, I will say. Some that we will have to keep an eye on. Sheffield Wednesday are up here now as well. Sheffield United, obviously, they have been promoted back to the Premier League in real life. Rotherham is a very interesting one to see in here. Millwall as well, of course. Let's have a quick scan over the English divisions as well, so you can kind of see some of the teams that are knocking around. Middlesbrough, Brighton and Blackburn.
It's the history of the Tottenham.
Got promoted last season. I'm trying to see Newcastle have dropped down into the Championship as well. Sunderland get themselves relegated, which is a big yikes. I just wanted to see if there's any like major changes that we could kind of see here. Any Exeter City, a club that I would have expected to have done a little bit better in this, but some interesting clubs here. Cardiff relegated down to Sky Bet League 1. Let's go. But unfortunately, Bristol Rovers promoted to the Championship. Sad. Okay, so let's have a look finally at Sky Bet League 2 for the last season. You can see Colchester in here. I'm yet to see any major like non-league moves that I would have seen yet. So if we go back up to the Premier League, you can see the past winners over the last 10 seasons. Obviously, Manchester City did win it in the first year and the second year, then Liverpool, Manchester City again. Then it starts to change. Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, Everton. That is ridiculous. Everton are potentially the best team in the league. Let's have a look at their team. And they've still got Sean Dyche as their manager as well. You love to see it. So this is what Dyche is playing. It's a 4-4-2. Who'd have thought, ladies and gentlemen? But they've moved into their new stadium in Liverpool. They've got 20 youth facilities, 19 training facilities, 18 coaching, and 20 for youth recruitment. So you can kind of see why they've done really well there. Let's have a look at some of the other leagues, because this is a global transfer ban as well, guys. So let's have a look at La Liga. Real Madrid still the champions, it would appear, and looking like they've kind of won most of the years apart from Barcelona. So Real Madrid still dominating over in Spain. If we go over to Italy, AC Milan are the most recent winners with 95 points, but Monza Sassuolo in there as well. I'd love to see Monza up there. If we have a look at some of the past winners, it's mainly been the teams from Milan. Inter won it in the first season, then AC every other year apart from Napoli. Monza, 5-time runners-up in the Serie A, which is really nice to see. Heading on over to the Bundesliga, I was kind of expecting this. Bayern going all the way most of the time. Dortmund winning 2 seasons there, which is really nice to see. Finally breaking that long run of Bayern Munich dominance. And over in France, it looks like PSG have dominated most of it until recently, where Nice have won the title back-to-back and Lyon have gone on and won the title in the most recent season. So let's have a look at the Champions League then. The UEFA Champions League, the holders are currently Barcelona, but let's have a look at some of the winners in here as well. So Manchester City won it in that first season. Then we've had the following winners: Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Arsenal, Liverpool again, Nice, who beat Everton in the final, Manchester United and Barcelona. So kind of the familiar faces that you would expect to see. A Nice-Everton Champions League final would be very rare. I don't think that would ever happen in real life, but you know, supporters of those two clubs could live and hope for the best. So the teams are looking pretty good after 10 seasons. Let's see what happens when we jump forward the full 100 years to see how English football and the rest of Europe does go on to look. Okay, so we are now 100 years into the future. This simulation season took a long time, guys. So if you do like the experimental content on the channel, please do hit the like button down below to let me know that you are enjoying it. And if you are new around here, do consider hitting that subscribe button. But we are in the year 21-23, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is how the Premier League is looking. Liverpool are champions of England yet again. West Ham, Tottenham and Portsmouth round off the top four. Palace, Leicester, there's Blackburn Rovers in here, Sunderland, Bolton, Barnsley, Rotherham, Norwich. This is a very different looking Premier League, guys. So it's very interesting to see. Let's have a look at some of the past winners to see if there's anyone who does jump out. Portsmouth, multiple time winners of the Premier League. West Ham have done pretty well in recent years as well, and we've also had good seasons for Crystal Palace as well, picking up a few titles. Manchester United looking like they had a little bit of a resurgence here in a battle with Crystal Palace in the 2090s. Maybe United can only be good in every 90s. Who knows? That would be very interesting to see. Sheffield United have picked up some titles as well. Another title back down there for Portsmouth. Villa had a nice 4 years of winning the title in a row. But it seems to be the same sorts of teams. Look at that period of dominance from Everton. Wow, I have to go and have a look at Everton now. They are 5-time winners of the Champions League, 22-time winners of the Premier League, and now they're in Sky Bet League One. This is ridiculous at how things can drop off. They now play at Dixie Park in Liverpool, so they've moved away from the stadium that is causing them so much financial ruin at the moment. It was built in 2103 for a team in Sky Bet League One with a capacity of 71,000, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Fair play to some of these teams though. They've gone on and done really well. Everton have been a very impressive one. I just want to go in and have a look at someone like a Portsmouth now. Portsmouth have gone on to win 7 Champions Leagues, 8 Premier Leagues. Obviously, some of those are historical ones. They've now got 13 FA Cups as well, which is brilliant. And they play in the Jimmy Dickinson Arena. Again, that's not a player that I'm familiar with, to be honest, but it might well be a new gen. I'm sorry, Pompey fans, if you are offended by that I don't know. Bobby Moore, on the other hand, for West Ham, that is a player that I do know. West Ham have got their own stadium now, Bobby Moore Stadium, built in 2101. Looks quite good. So very nice to see there. Okay, so that is England kind of done and dusted. The next thing that I've noticed is that the French league is now the second best league in Europe. So let's go and take a look at that one to see what we do have in the French league. So Toulouse are the most recent winners. Obviously, Paris FC have won one as well, looking at things. PSG, though, have dropped down into 5th, which isn't unlike my Twitch save. Twitch.tv/HookGamingUK. This is my final season with FC Versailles. We are dominating France, kind of like this, blitzing teams, even like PSG, who aren't even qualifying for the Champions League anymore, which is absolutely ludicrous. Lyon get themselves relegated, but some interesting winners in here. Let's have a look at some of the past winners. Toulouse, Nice, obviously, as you would expect. PSG picking up the odd title here and there. Rennes, Nice again, PSG, Toulouse. Looking like Toulouse are a very good team in terms of generating their own new gens then. Metz pick up a nice title as well. Saint Etienne, couple from Montpellier. And then still in the area of PSG dominance, but it looks like once their money was no use to them anymore, winning titles is definitely much harder. Okay, so that's an interesting one for France. Let's have a look at 𝘼𝙗 and see who is dominating things over there. The old lady back on top, no points deductions anymore. Some interesting teams in here. Foggia is an interesting one. Roma still knocking around there. Lazio just avoiding relegation again, part of our network game. But some very interesting teams in Italy. If we have a look at some of the past winners, Monza finally overcome it over a period of time. Look, oh my god, how many years is that in a row? Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to count this.
2,000 years later.
They won 23 titles in a row. 23 league titles in a row for Monza. Monza have absolutely been crushing it. Juventus have recently got back more on top. A couple of exchanging seasons, but that run for Monza was absolutely crazy. Let's have a look at Monza now. They are now 4-time winners of the Champions League in this time. 29-time winners of the Serie A is absolutely fantastic to see. They've won them all in this particular experiment, which is great to see. Wow, fair play Monza. Fair play Monza dominating Italy. You love to see it. La Liga down to the 4th best league in the world, and Tenerife are now the champions of Spain. Tenerife. I just can't. Look at some of these guys. Tenerife winning it the last 4 years. Villarreal doing pretty well as well. Madrid still picking up titles here, there and everywhere, which you kind of would expect. Doing really good things, actually. Looking around, a couple of titles for Atletico. Looks like Barca have fallen off. Looks like La Masia's not delivering as much as people would expect. Looking like it's heavy Madrid. Real into Atletico. Villarreal, and I'm loving the run from Tenerife. Absolutely loving the run from Tenerife. Now, I'm missing a league. What on earth has happened to the Bundesliga? They're not in the top 5 leagues anymore. The Bundesliga is now ranked as the 18th best league in Europe. What? I thought German clubs produced absolute legends of players, but RB Leipzig are the current champions. Bayern Munich are there in second. Some very interesting teams in here that you would obviously see. Würzburger Kickers is a very interesting team that I've never seen before, but some very interesting goings on in the Bundesliga. If we have a look at some of the past winners, it's still Bayern for the most part, dominating. Hertha, RB Leipzig splattered in there, but lots of Bayern Munich, lots of interesting clubs in here. It's kind of the same ones that you would expect. No real resurgence from anyone a lot further down the pyramid in Germany. Okay, so we've checked out the main leagues in Europe. Let's have a look at the Champions League to see who is, because we've seen some very interesting runs in that. Portsmouth are the current Champions League winners. They beat Ghent in this final. Andy Archibald with the goals there. Absolutely smashing it. What a guy. Looks like he's been out on loan for a long period of time. He's been out on loan left, right and Christmas. But he is a Portsmouth player. He's doing really well, getting the goals in the final. And let's have a look at some of these past winners then. So Portsmouth win it most recently. And then it is kind of obviously the familiar names that you would expect coming in through here. Juve, Tenerife, the sort of league winners. West Ham. Tottenham have won trophies now, just because I'm curious. I have to look. 3 Champions Leagues and 3 Premier Leagues, but only one of those Premier Leagues is actually since the since this experiment started, which is very interesting. Cercle Bruges getting a title there, getting a Champions League title in 21-04-05, which is nice to see. I'm kind of just looking around for some of these more interesting ones. Another title there for Portsmouth, as we discussed. Monza, Toulouse, some of these clubs doing really well here. Back to back for Roma against Nice in the finals. Very nice as well. Some very interesting stuff here. I'm really enjoying this. I might actually do a save on it. And if you guys would like to do a save on this database, check out the link in the description. It will give you a link to starting a game with this 100 season transfer embargo. And I have to say a massive shout out to the amazing CTxCB who made this database. It's a lot of changes, guys, so please do go and show him some love. His links will be down in the description as well. And if you do like the experimental content, guys, check out this playlist right here, right now. It's all the experiments we've done on this year's game.